just kind of an orientation time. I just want to talk through some things, ground rules, and then we'll run through a practice session sort of thing with some simple characters. It looks like we got the technology worked out pretty well. I think in future games, probably I'll have my own setup, and Susan will have her laptop separate. But if you guys want to share, Lewis and Kira, that is not a problem at all.
Think of that. Okay.
Okay, so really, the purpose, I think, for this is have fun, get together, laugh, tell a story, and just try out role-playing and have fun with it. I don't think that we should have any high stakes at all for what to expect, except to just try out something fun, hopefully. Did anyone have a chance to watch the Dimension 20 YouTube shows?
I got the gist of it. So
okay.
I only watched about the first 5 minutes of it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they were long.
Yeah, they are quite long.
If something I wanted to mention, if anybody has a chance to go back and watch more of them, both of those videos feature a player who was playing for the first time ever. So it's a good way to kind of get the sense of like, oh yeah, this isn't a big deal. Like people start anew all the time. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that. Thanks. So for scheduling for games, we have a few options. We can do a regular session, or we can just schedule kind of as needed, where after each game, I can send out an email to schedule the next one. For regular sessions, Susan and I have Monday, Thursday, and Friday nights available. So do you guys have any preferences in terms of scheduling?
Yeah.
I have Mondays and Thursdays available. Friday nights I do a Zoom with other people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that would mean Mondays.
Mondays, yeah, for now would be best.
Yeah.
We were doing stuff on Thursdays,
yeah.
But we could always
we can switch it. Yeah, I mean, Monday or Thursday is fine.
Okay. Well, we'll tentatively plan on Monday evenings. Obviously not starting, this Monday. We'll need a little bit of time to set things up, but I think that'll work pretty well for us.
Okay.
And then for the sessions, are you guys okay with us recording them? I guess yes. Jimmy wants to be able to watch them. And...
Yeah, I invited Jimmy to do this for Lewis and Kara. I just told Liz, but Jimmy said that he didn't want to be involved, but he was interested in the process. So I told him we could, since it's okay with everybody, that I would record the sessions and make them available to him. That's sweet. I think so.
Okay, cool. Okay, great. So just want to go over the ground rules, as I mentioned. So the goal of the game is for us to tell a good story together. You all will be playing a character, and then I am creating the world. And then dice will be used to resolve situations when the stakes get high. So there's kind of an element of chance in there. And the game is going to be hopefully kind of high verisimilitude. We're going to have a murder mystery plot. As mentioned, your characters are drawn from popular fiction, and we'll be working together to solve the crime in the strange land of Hamlet. And my job as the DM is to create the universe for your characters to inhabit, and I'll also help with the rules.
DM is Dungeon Master?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. You'll sometimes hear it referred to as Game Master or GM. So.
Yep. And as a general rule, one of the hallmarks of improv is saying yes and rather, or sometimes no but. So as a general rule, whenever you all try to do something, I'm going to try to say, yeah, you can do that, and this is what that would look like. Or if I say no, but well, no, you can't do that, but you can try to do this other thing. So the vision is to kind of, try to keep the action rolling, as it were.
Okay, so this really is like improv.
Yeah, it really is. Yep.
Yeah.
I have a little video clip to share that I think is kind of helps to summarize the idea of the thing.
When it comes to being a DM, where do you draw the line at letting players do things? At what point do you just straight up say no?
I've said this many times on NADPOD, which is the characters are Legolas. They are not Bugs Bunny. I don't want to run that goofy shit. If you want to take your shield and surfboard down some stairs and shoot some elephants and ride down the trunk, dope, awesome. You can do that with a good athletics check. But you're not like using a whoopee cushion to distract somebody. You're not doing a mating call to like trick a bullywug into thinking you're a frog. Like, not gonna work. They're gonna come out and kill you because bullywugs are evil frogmen who worship froghemoths, and they will feed you to a big frog if you goof around.
So there is definitely silliness and quite a bit of humor in the game, and I want the characters to feel empowered to do wild stuff, but trying to keep it. Your characters are reasonable human beings, basically. Some other things. Sometimes we'll have like a spotlight focus on a character, where we'll have just some time for that character. Most of the time, we'll have all the characters involved. Trying as much as possible to create a separation between things that you might know as a player and things that your character might know. So when you're kind of playing the character, try to think about, okay, like what would they actually know? And if you know something that they not necessarily wouldn't, trying to keep that separation for that verisimilitude.
Yeah. So I'm just going to jump in and say, like, Liz, I know you're planning to play Lorelei, so like, I can't imagine that graphic design is going to come up in the game, but like you, Liz, know a lot about graphic design, and Lorelei wouldn't. So like that kind of difference.
Right. So I would skew toward what Lorelei would know.
Exactly.
Not what I would know.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and feel free to chime in with any questions or comments as we're going through this. When we make up our characters, if you want to make changes to the characters, we will do so. So it's not totally set in stone. And then characters will advance. So as the characters go through the game, they have challenges, and they learn from those challenges, and eventually increase in level, which makes the character more effective in the world. So you learn new skills and new powers and that sort of thing. So we'll probably have a couple of level up opportunities where your characters become more effective throughout the sessions.
Yeah, kind of like life. Like you get some experiences, and then you know things that you didn't know before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. For combat encounters, it'll just be narrated. So I'll try to describe, where you are, where the bad guys are, and talk through that. If there's questions, feel free to ask, like, am I close enough to do this? And we'll work it out. So it'll all just be kind of narrated. For talking out of character, if you're talking to me as the DM, you can just do that naturally. If you need to talk out of character, our hand signal is to just cross your fingers. So is there an example we can have? So if I'm playing a non-player character, so let's say I'm the bartender, for example, and you're ordering something, can we play through just like a little scenario?
Okay, sure. So if I'm talking to you as the bartender.
Yes, you're in character.
Okay, could I please have a flagon of mead?
Absolutely. Grabs the bottle off the shelf and passes it to you.
And then, okay, so, and this is when I would say something like, oh my God, have I told you about this mead, or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Or I might say to you, like, can I, and this is where like the mechanics would come in, it's like, can I do an insight check to make sure this guy didn't put something in my glass?
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So we'll try to create kind of a separation between, what our characters are saying and what we're going to be saying to each other as players.
In my experience, this is pretty intuitive once things get started.
Yeah.
Is there a penalty if you forget the thing?
No, not at all. It just makes it makes the communication more clear
Right.
and obvious.
Because if you were to say something out of character, it's sometimes hard for the DM who's in charge of deciding what's happening, whether it was you, Kira, or your character who did that.
Yeah, exactly. So we're all going to be playing characters, but we're all here to have fun. So I probably don't need to say this, but I will, to not be a jerk. Some people are like, well, that's what my character would do. And it's like,
don't use that as an
yeah, but
excuse
like,
to
let's
me.
just all have fun, you know?
Yeah, obviously we all want to like each other after this.
Yeah. If you want to have a drink during the game, that is fine. Trying to avoid being tipsy is ideal.
Okay.
Yeah. Cut Susan off.
That's what the problem with me once or twice.
I prefer there not to be any like antagonism between the characters, so all four of you guys are basically on the same team. There might be some like tension or like, well, I want to do this, I want to do this, and that kind of thing. Like that actually creates a lot of really good storytelling, but I don't want there to be any like, I'm out to get this person sort of conflict. If at all possible, turning cell phones off, etc., during the game is appreciated, and focusing on the game, so not having Facebook or Twitter or those sorts of things open. Whenever you see the screen, like you see the contrast change, I'm switching between other game-related things. I'm not doing anything non-game related. So as much as possible, appreciate the focus for that time frame. Rating, I'm aiming for a PG-13 rating, so not aiming for anything super gory or super violent or that sort of thing. We're going to be obviously using Zoom, and you guys have your dice to roll, so we'll be using those.
Go get my dice.
And
I'm gonna go get my dice. Keep talking.
We will need dice tonight.
I can hear you. Keep talking.
Okay, great. And then for start time, as much as possible, trying to be punctual so that we can get going and have a good time. So what questions do you guys have about just kind of the basics along those lines?
I don't have any. I'm very interested about all of these dice. All of the
Yes, there's a variety.
Yeah.
I had. I don't know if I need to know now, but when you sent out the email just before, and it had each person's character that we were just going to use tonight.
Yes.
I didn't know what all those stats were that went with it.
Yes. We will. Yeah. Good question. Thank you. We will. Let's talk about that. So if you guys would go ahead and open up the email that I sent you with the kind of intro game characters. I
100% didn't know that. Like, Eric sent this out sitting right where he is now. I had no idea that I had this. Okay.
Yeah, and I assigned it. I assigned it for ridiculousness. Like,
awesome.
yeah. I just it tickled me to have Susan play a cocky, overconfident blonde guy.
The scarf.
coiffed hair.
Oh, and the earring. Is that an earring?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yep. Okay, so I gave each of you one of these characters. So this is the you work for the Sixth Sense Bakery. The Sixth Sense Bakery specializes in baked goods, which can be enjoyed even by those who have passed beyond the veil of life. As such, deliveries can be perilous, and the bakery employs a rotating, due to relatively high death rate, team of teenagers to do the delivery.
God.
So your team has been tasked with making a delivery to the Moaning Tower. The client is Hallow the Mourner, and there's a large basket of baked goods to deliver. You're going to set out early in the morning to make the delivery in order to get home by nightfall. So if you look at the kind of short character sheet that I gave you, right under the name, there's 6 abbreviations: STR, Dex, Con, Int, Wiz, Cha. And those are attributes. So attributes are kind of fundamental characteristics of the character that define them. So it's strength, which is your physical brawn, dexterity, which is like your agility, constitution, which is like your health, intelligence, which is obviously how smart you are, how much things that you know, wisdom, which is kind of how you relate with the world. One of the best explanations I've heard is that intelligence is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put a tomato in a fruit salad. So wisdom kind of defines your perception of the world. And then charisma is how people perceive you, how much you can kind of get them to do what you want them to do. So those are the 6 attributes that you have. And then to the right of that, you have AC, which is armor class. That's basically how difficult you are for a bad guy to hit. And right under that is hit points, which I just realized I didn't give hit points to Jerry. Jerry has 8 hit points.
He does.
He does.
Okay.
To the right of the armor class, so hit points are the amount of damage that your character can take before they fall unconscious and start dying. So the more of those you have, the better. And then to the right of the armor class is the weapon that your character has. So Jerry has a club, Nara has a dagger, Lithi has a staff, and Pona has an axe. And then the bonus that you have, the +1, when you roll your 20-sided dice, so you roll, and I got a 5. If I have a +1, I'm going to add that +1 to the 5, and so I'm going to say I got a 6 when I used my club, for example. So all of these bonuses, all of these pluses and minuses apply to what I roll on my 20-sided dice.
And if anybody forgets about that, like I forget this all the time. I don't really. This is hard for me to keep in my head. So Eric will help us out.
Yeah. And then below that are the skills that your character has. So acrobatics is, going over a wire that you walk on to cross.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
a second ago. It's not
A tightrope. A tightrope.
Tightrope, there we go. Yeah, like walking a tightrope, that kind of thing. Athletics is like climbing. Deception is your ability to like tell lies to someone and have them believe it. Insight is your ability to perceive like what the person's mood is, what they're thinking, also to tell if they are lying. Intimidation is your ability to kind of yell at someone and force them to say what you want, to do what you want. Investigation is like looking around a scene and kind of figuring out like, okay, what's going on here? Do I find any clues, sort of thing. Medicine is your skill at taking care of people in a health standpoint. Perception is your ability to see things. Persuasion is how good you are at convincing someone else to do something that you would want them to do. And then stealth is your ability to sneak quietly and silently past someone. So, what questions do you guys have about any of those numbers?
What are the indices next to the strength, dexterity?
Yeah. What is the number not in parentheses?
So the parentheses. So if I ask you for a strength check, for example, then you roll your 20-sided dice and add whatever that number is in parentheses. That's your strength modifier. And these scores, your attribute scores are basically 0 to 20. An average human being has a 10. So if you have a 12, you're a little bit better at that. If you have an 8, you're a little bit worse than average. If you have a 14, you're quite good. Someone at 20 would be like an Olympic level person.
Right,
So
right.
the things in parentheses basically are reflecting how much higher or lower that the attribute, the first number is.
Yes, relative to average, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah, I got you.
Other questions about character info.
The acrobatics down to the stealth, is that out of 22? No, that's
No, those are just modifiers. On a practical level, they're probably out of like, I don't know, +8, maybe +10 if you're very, 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 very good. For the characters that we have tonight, I'm pretty sure +5 is the highest that I gave anyone, because you guys are teenagers. You're like,
yeah.
just trying to deliver baked goods to ghosts.
Gotcha.
As you do.
As you do.
As you do, right.
Hey, I love a good bakery. I better love one in the afterlife.
Okay, so why don't we do brief introductions of these characters? So, Jerry, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up? So I'm Jerry. I basically run this team. I mean, I don't know. I'm fucking here to deliver some baked goods to ghosts. What?
Well, this is PG-13, so that was good.
So I got bleeped. I'll try real hard to tone down the swearing.
All here, so
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
what?
You're also a little quiet.
Oh.
Okay, great. Lewis, do you want to introduce yourself as Nara?
Not
Look at her
Nara.
picture.
Yeah. I'm Nara. I look like a side character on Veronica Mars.
You totally do.
And I don't expect you to know much about Veronica Mars. But it was a really good show a while back. That's not on anymore. So that's it.
Nice. All right, Kira, you want to tell us about Liffy?
Okay. I'm Liffy. I love bars. I love comedy clubs. I'm Irish, so I can drink anybody under the table.
Hi,
And
girl.
if you want to come and hang out one night.
Nice. Awesome. All right, and Liz, you want to introduce Pona?
Hey, I'm Pona. Don't mess with me, because I'll put you in a headlock. Unless you buy me a beer, then we might be friends.
Awesome.
See, I
All
look
right.
just like her.
Yeah, right.
That's great. Very well. Very good. Thank you. Okay, so so the team sets out to the Moaning Tower. You're trying to deliver this basket of goods to Hallow. And on the road, or not really a road, it's basically a trail out to the Moaning Tower. As you're leaving town, you come upon the Softwater Creek. The Softwater Creek is not a terribly fast creek, but it runs in a gully that's about a 20-foot ditch across the countryside out towards sea. Fortunately, there is a bridge that someone has built across it using a couple of tree trunks and then roping together a handful of plywood planks. The bridge is quite rickety and a little bit perilous to get across. But you guys, the tower's on the other side of the Softwater Creek, so you've got to get to the other side somehow. So you're kind of looking at this bridge, looking at it like, this looks kind of dodgy. So you guys could try to cross the bridge. You could potentially try to like go down in the gully and ford the stream, or in some other way get across this gully.
And is this one of the things where we need to decide this as a team, or like we can each individually choose to do?
I mean, if Jerry would just fucking go do what Jerry does, then Jerry would just go do what Jerry does.
I mean, I think Jerry grabs, like, I don't know how are we carrying these baked?
Yeah, so you each have a basket over your over your back, sort of like a backpack.
Gotcha. I'm taking it across, like not even a conversation, taking it off across this bridge.
Okay, Jerry just like boldly starts striding across the bridge. All right, why don't you roll your acrobatics?
Okay. 13.
That's a 19.
What? I
can't see it very well. Okay, it was over there. Yeah, 19. Okay.
19. Okay. All right. So 19. So Jerry doesn't even pause. Just like shoots across this rickety bridge and makes it to the other side. What do you say or do as you look back at the rest of your team?
All right, how serious are we being about this PG-13 thing?
I mean, they swear PG-13.
Is anybody like?
It's America.
It depends on how many times you swear.
No, when I put it on YouTube, I'm gonna say not appropriate for children.
Okay. Fucking come on, we got a job to do.
All right, rest of the team, what do you guys do?
Let's do it. I'm running across the ridge tail.
All right.
I would really follow.
Okay, Liffy, go ahead and give me an acrobatics check then. So roll your d20, and you're going to add your acrobatics to that, which is +4.
That's a 3, right?
That is a
3.
Okay, and then you add 4 to it, so your total is 7?
Yeah.
And then I
Okay,
do.
great. Yep, go ahead.
Oh.
14.
Oh, dang.
Okay, and then you have a 0 acrobatics. So, okay, so Liffy, you start to make your way across, and you hit a board that kind of wobbles funny, and you start to teeter off the bridge, and you kind of plant yourself on the bridge, and now you're like face down on it, just like clutching onto it for dear life.
Oh.
Nara, you walk across the bridge, no problem. You like get up to Liffy, who's like clutching it, and you're looking down at her.
Do we then?
So then I go on.
Yeah. So Nara, you could like help her up, but you could just like walk across her, or.
So, quick question. So, I'm a little confused as to the turn. I guess I'm more used to like a turn taking. So, how do?
Yeah, it's just organic. It's just whoever has a thing to do. Once we get into combat, then it'll be more regimented. But at this point, it's just like this is what's happening. If someone wants to do something, go ahead and say what you want to do.
Well, I would help her up.
Yeah, help me up right now to get across this river.
Okay, so in this case, Nara, go ahead and give me an athletics check because you're using your strength to lift Liffy up.
And I was +0.
Yeah. We're not supposed to talk like this, I don't think, right?
No, that's fine. Yeah.
8.
8. All right. Fortunately, Liffy's not very heavy, so you're able to lift her up without too much difficulty. So now, Liffy, since Nara is helping you, you can roll your acrobatics with advantage, which means that you roll the d20 twice and take the better result.
Yes. Oh, I am not good at
That was a
Yeah. Oh,
7.
9.
9? Okay. Is that with your +4?
No, I'm sorry, 13.
Oh, okay, great. All right, so with Nara's help, the two of you make it across and join. So, Jerry, were you waiting, or are you just taking off?
Oh, I'm sure. I don't think Jerry's waiting for anything. Jerry's just taking
Jerry's long gone at this point.
Stopped long enough to yell at everybody else, and then just.
I want to wait.
What's her name?
Pona.
Pona. We would want to wait.
Pona, right?
Yep. All
Okay.
right, Pona, what's your plan here?
Okay, I was just rolling my eyes at how long it was taking them, so I'm just barreling my way straight across.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
nice.
All right, roll your acrobatics then.
Is that the 20 side one?
Yes.
15.
Okay, great. Yeah, no problem. Even though you don't have an acrobatics bonus, 15. Pona makes it across, so the three of you join up. And yeah, you're looking at Jerry, who's like 100 feet ahead of you.
Let's go.
Go to hell, Jerry. I
Okay.
had a lot of caffeine before.
God damn it, Nara! I told you to hurry up.
They have these,
Let's go.
they have these free espresso shots at the bake shop. I sneak them.
Okay, you guys proceed down the trail towards the Moaning Tower, which you can kind of see in the distance now. There's a little bit of a small forest between you and it, and you enter the forest. It's just kind of some nice pine trees. hear birds chirping. It seems very pleasant. You come out into a meadow. Beautiful yellow flowers kind of carpeting the meadow. Kind of partly cloudy sky, sun's shining. And I guess, Jerry, you're probably still in front.
Morning. Yeah, what's all this nature shit? Like, I don't give a fuck.
So popping in front of you is a small, just appears out of nowhere, is a small 2-foot tall dragon.
Yeah.
It has butterfly wings, and it's obviously a lizard-like dragon thing. And it looks at you and the rest of the group and says, "Hi, I'm Miss Liliana. I want you to entertain me."
Entertain.
What?
I would 100%. Yeah, let's do some comedy. Would you like to laugh?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Or I say, or what?
Or I'm not going to let you go past the forest. I'm going to scream, "Ah! Ah!" You guys hear this echoing throughout the forest. Birds take off from the trees. Anyone for like a mile around is going to hear if this dragon keeps belting like this.
Jesus, shut the fuck
Right.
up.
All right, well, what are you going to do? Dance?
Fine.
Sing?
Fine.
Comedy?
I don't know. She says I'm not comedy. Whatever.
You take comedy, but I'm not funny.
Could do a
Come
stand-up.
on, you got to entertain me.
Donald Trump is president. Was that funny?
Actually,
I'm laughing.
Can I pass, little dragon?
Okay.
Yeah, so what do you want to do for him?
Hey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you could try to do yeah, you're just not very good at those kinds of things. You could do like acrobatics to do like a little funny skit for him.
that's all you. I'm a 0.
You can also try to persuade him to let you pass or intimidate him, or just entertain him however he wants.
I'm 0, but mine is also plus 0.
I feel like I should have notes. I'm also pretty stealthy.
Oh, maybe try sneaking past them.
Really
That
staring
would
at
that would definitely help you, but I'm not sure the rest of the team would be able to stealth past him. You could try.
I have an idea.
Ooh.
How about Jerry and I arm wrestle, and then you can stealth past him while we're distracting him.
Yay! Wrestle! Wrestle! Wrestle!
Okay,
Wrestle!
Yeah, Jerry's 100% up for this. Like, yeah, let's wrestle.
All right, so go ahead. Each of you give me an athletics check.
That's still
That's
D20,
the same
right?
one.
Yeah, still D20. Yep.
Oh, that's a nat 1. +1, so Jerry
Two?
gets a 2.
I got a 15 again.
Oh no! Okay.
I am so excited that Jerry's losing this.
All right. So describe what this looks like. So Pona just owns Jerry, no problem.
Yeah. But I want to. I don't want to win too quickly.
Okay.
Because I want to give them time. Because
Okay.
we really want to distract this dragon.
Nice. Awesome.
So I'm going to pretend to let Jerry win, or at least give me good competition
Right,
before
okay.
before I
Jerry
win.
absolutely believes he's doing well. And
So privileged.
exactly.
It's due to his own innate abilities.
Exactly. Like, no, I'm really good at wrestling.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Liffy, go ahead and roll your stealth check. So that's a D20, and you add +4 to that.
Jeez, 8.
Is that total?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then Nara, are you witnessing this? Are you also trying to stealth past this thing? What's your plan?
Well, I mean, what else?
Yeah.
I'm just
mousily
standing
follow.
here. I will
Come on over, Nora.
mousily follow.
Okay.
I wear a mouse. 4.
Okay.
We're all so good at this.
So Nara and Liffy are like doing the Scooby-Doo kind of creep thing, like trying to go past the dragon. And the dragon looks and it like sees them, but it's like so interested in the wrestling match that it just doesn't care.
So happy.
What is investigation?
Investigation is like looking at a scene for clues or checking out a site or getting information about your surroundings.
So I could have investigated the bridge, for example.
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you could have investigated the bridge, like how structural it was, that kind of thing.
Could I talk to the dragon and ask him why he's there and stuff like that to figure out?
Is that investigation?
Why not? Asking questions to figure out what's in.
What was that? Sorry.
Could have like tried to talk to the dragon and ask him questions like, "What are you doing? Why are you here? What?"
Yeah, so that usually will just do like as the player character. So like you'll ask the questions of the non-player character. So you'd actually ask, what you want to get from them.
So that doesn't do with any sort of modifier. It's just
right. Yeah, exactly. It's just like the role playing back and forth sort of thing.
I think sometimes you might roll to see what kind of an answer you get, like especially if you were trying to like intimidate somebody, you would do an intimidation check to see like how successful you are at getting the result that you want.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, because your characters are in the world and they may be able to know things or do things that you may not necessarily know or do, but they're saying the things that you are saying.
Right. That's okay. Got it.
Yep.
Not funny.
Okay, so Pona, so the two of them walk past the fairy dragon. So are you going to let this farce continue for much longer?
No. We're out of the corner of my eye. I'm checking to see if they're.
Yep. They're out of the clearing. Yeah.
And as soon as they're clear, then I'm just going to win. And then while the dragon is like applauding or laughing, we're just going to take off.
Okay. Yeah. Yay!
Yay! Right.
Fairy dragon is appeased and happy with his entertainment for the day. Okay, you guys proceed through the meadow, go back into the forest. The forest starts to get, the trees start to get a little bit denser. The undergrowth gets a little bit heavier. You can see the Moaning Tower. It's not far at all at this point, maybe a half mile. And suddenly, I guess, Jerry, you're still probably in front.
No, actually, I think now Jerry's trailing because the other two got in front.
Okay.
And now.
But you didn't reestablish that you're in
charge?
charge?
Oh, no. Jerry is nursing his hurt ego and also his hurt arm. He's like, I could have fucking won. I just didn't want to. I wanted to, like, make the dragon look really fast. So I think Jerry's, like, actually at the back now, like, just kind of.
Feeling his bruised ego.
Exactly, like telling himself how awesome he is.
Nice. Okay, so Liffy, you're in front of the group at this point, and you're cruising down the trail. Like I said, it's getting a little bit close. Trees are getting a little closer, a little bit darker. The clouds have kind of covered over the sun a little bit more, and suddenly you feel something wrap around your ankle, and you look down, and there is a vine that is wrapped around your ankle, and pouring out of the forest are tiny 6-inch tall stick figures that are coming in, and one of them jumps up and cuts your ankle, and they are attacking you. So now we are going to enter combat.
Well, I would. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So now we're going to be more regimented with our turn order. So to determine the order that you go in, roll your 20-sided dice and then add your dexterity modifier. So the number in parentheses by your dex.
Okay, I got a...
We're all doing it?
Yeah.
Yes, everybody will do it.
Is this a 6 or a 9?
Look at the dot.
Does the dot go on the bottom or the top?
Bottom.
then that's a 6.
Okay. So what's your total?
Just 6.
Okay.
He doesn't have any. God, Jerry, like, surprising nobody for an overconfident blonde guy. Like, Jerry doesn't have a lot of skills to lead to this sense of self that he's got. He's
Nope.
not actually very good.
He's not
He's
actually very
at
good.
Very much.
No, he is not.
I know, right, Raphael?
Okay, Nara, what did you roll?
You're Nara. Oh, I'm Nara. 15.
Oh my God.
Nice. All right, Liffy,
5.
5. And Kona?
20.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so there are these little twig blights kind of all around you, these little 6-inch things that are obviously trying to harm you. So Pona, you are the first to act.
Okay.
So you've got an axe and you know how to use it.
I do, and I also I'm very skilled at swinging it and spinning it, and I can just take a swipe and I can just knock like a whole swath of these little stick figures, and they all just go flying, and I just start going like this, and I like make like a path for us to go through while they're all flying away.
Okay, great. So roll your attack, which is again the d20, and you have a +1 to this roll.
12.
12. Okay, so you are in fact able to hit one of the little twig blights, and so now you're going to roll your damage. Your damage is the d8. It's the one shaped like that.
Oh, I like this.
Is it like clear, but it's a square?
Sort of pinkish, yeah.
Yeah, they're all different colors, so I don't know what Susan got you guys.
Yeah. It's the only one that's square except for the real dice. So.
Okay,
Yeah,
that seems
yeah.
likely.
2.
Okay, so 2, and then you have a +2 to that, so you do 4 damage to one of the twig blights. So you hit one of the twig blights, and you just shear right through it. This little twig blight looking up at you like, ah! You hit it with the axe, it goes snap, and pieces of it go flying into the forest. More twig blights kind of swarm over you in spite of their companion being destroyed. Next up is Nara.
That's me.
Yeah.
What do I do again?
What would Nara do?
Oh, I would scream and try to rip off the vine from your foot.
Oh, because Nara has a. Oh, sorry. It's gone.
Nara has a what?
I don't know. I'm not Nara.
I have a dagger, so I'm trying to cut the vine off your foot.
Okay,
And then-
yeah.
Let's go. You're
You definitely have a dagger. So you go ahead and cut the vine. So go ahead and roll to hit there. You have a -1 to this.
And this is the D20.
D20, yes.
I have a -1.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
18.
Nice. All right, you cut the cut the vine.
17.
17 total.
17. Okay. And then I believe your damage is a D4, which is the kind of pyramid-looking one.
Oh, these are weird. Okay.
So
Can I do
roll
what?
that.
Julian, for damage.
What? How,
Yeah.
How do we know
It's
it's
a
what it
Those
pyramid,
are
how do
hard
I-
to read. It's
What?
either going to be the number. It's probably going to be the number on the bottom.
oh, the number of.
Like if you look, it should be the same number all the way around.
Got it. 1.
1. Okay. Well, even though you have a -1 to damage, you can only ever do 1 point at least. So you cut the vine with your dagger and cut through it, freeing up Liffy's ankle.
Woo! Yay!
Okay, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry's just got his club and he's like, yeah, and just like starts whacking it.
Whack-a-mole.
Yeah, exactly.
Whack-a-mole on the twig blights. All right, so roll a hit.
Oh my God, yes, Raphael. And what do I add to this, if anything?
Your plus to hit, which I believe is +1 to hit.
Oh yes. That's 15, so 16.
16. All right, yeah, you smash a twig blight. Roll your damage.
That's the D8, right?
D8. Yep.
1.
1. All right. Fortunately, these twig blights are pretty fragile, so you absolutely pulp one of the twig blights and like squishes down onto it. And Lithy,
Wait, what are they called? What are you calling them?
Twig Blight.
Got it. All right.
So at this point, I'm free.
Yes.
With me. So a staff, like a wizard's, like what kind of staff? What is that?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a wizard staff. Yeah, it's like a 6 foot tall. Like you can totally use this thing to swing and just like golf it, just like whack.
Yeah. So I start playing whack-a-mole with these blights and try to get rid of all the rest of them so we can keep going.
Okay, great. So roll to hit.
All right, what do we do?
I'm rolling
The
big one.
D20.
Okay. 18.
18.
Nope.
That totally hits them. And then you roll your damage, which is going to be just the regular square-sided, six-sided.
3.
3. All right. Yeah, you hit one up, tee it up like a golf club. Whack! It goes flying into a tree and smashes into a bunch of bits. But there is still a bunch of these little things around, and they swarm and start attacking you.
We've got to run, right?
Yeah, we gotta get the shit. We gotta get the shit.
Okay, so Pona, one of them hits you. Nara, none of them hit you. Jerry, Jerry, critical.
Yeah.
So when a natural 20 is rolled on the dice, you can't see it, but when you roll a 20 on the dice, that means that you hit particularly well and do extra damage. So one of these twig blights like jumps on Jerry and like shoves its twig up his nose and like pulls the sharp twig out of his nose and like slices Jerry's nose open.
Get off me!
And Liffy, 2 of them hit you. So Pona, you take 1 point of damage. So your hit points go down from 10 to 9. Jerry, you take 2 points of damage.
So I'm at 6
So
now,
you're
I
at
think.
6 now.
Yeah.
Yep. And Liffy, you take 2 points of damage as well. So you're also at 6 hit points now. Okay, so there's 2 of these creatures attacking each of you at this point. You've killed 3 so far. All right, so back at the top, Pona, what do you want to do?
I'm really, really pissed right now. So I'm grabbing one of it with my bare hands, and I'm just smashing it into the side of a tree.
Nice. All right, good. Go ahead and roll to hit.
The 20 side one?
Yes.
16.
16. Absolutely. Yeah, you grab one of these things that's scampering around trying to cut you. You grab it and you just pulp it against one of the nearby tree trunks.
Right.
Okay, Nara, what would you like to do?
Scream. But we're being attacked. I would try to run.
Yeah.
I wouldn't try to fight.
Yeah.
You're going to run? Okay. So if you're wanting to move, you have 2 options. You can take your action to disengage, which means that you're going to kind of back away carefully and not let them attack you anymore. And then you can move your full movement, which is going to be 30 feet away from them. Or you could just turn and full out run. So take your action to move as well as take a movement. So you could get 60 feet away from them. If you do that, they are going to get an opportunity to attack you as you're leaving.
Okay.
So which would you rather do? Do you want to get further away but risk injury, or do you want to be careful and back away and move a little bit away?
I want to be careful.
Okay. All right, so you take disengage action, so you're careful, and then you move 30 feet down the trail. So you are away from the creatures now. Jerry.
Yeah, okay. So Jerry's just gotten his like nose sliced
Yeah, man. Just...
open. Yeah. And like how many? I've got 2.
2 of them on
me.
you, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of like try to grab them and fling them away from me. Like,
Okay.
Jerry doesn't have the wherewithal to use his club at this point.
Okay, so what you can do is use the shove action.
Okay.
You can hit one and move it 10 feet away from you.
Sure, let's do that.
All right, so that's just going to be an athletics check.
Okay. Five plus 1, 6.
Okay, well, these things are pretty small, so let's see if you're able to succeed. They have a -4, so they have a 5. So, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Did
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I'm so good. I'm so good at this, you guys.
You're so good
I'm
at shoving.
so
You're
good
so good at
shoving.
shoving 6-inch twigs away from you.
Exactly.
so you kind of like get one with your foot and like kick it away.
Uh-huh.
It kind of scampers into the forest about 10 feet away, hops up and like, kind of makes chittering angry noises at you.
What?
Liffy.
Okay, so I noticed the success that Pona had, so I tried to grab mine too
Okay,
and rip it apart.
nice. All right, go ahead and roll an attack roll.
13.
13. Yeah, you grab one of these twig blights and you just snap him in half. And the other one that's attacking you, you looks up at you like, ah!
Perfect.
All right. After having one of their members snapped in half, and a bunch of others killed, the rest of the twig blights run away. If you want to take a swing on them as they are running from you, you may do so. So, Pona, do you want to try to crush one of these things as it's running away?
Oh, absolutely. I have an axe. They're wood.
Nice. All right, roll to hit.
$17.
All right, yeah, you absolutely pulp one of these things as it's trying to flee from you. Nara, you're not engaged. You're down the trail. Jerry?
Yeah, absolutely. Swinging with his club. 16.
Yep.
Plus
yeah,
1, so 17.
you hit it like a baseball. Whack!
Yeah.
Smacks into a tree, flies into a ton of little pieces. Liffy, you want to hit one of these things as they're running away?
Can I offer an alternative, or is it a yes or no
Yeah.
thing? No. And I'm gonna run over to Jerry and try to stop the bleeding.
Oh, sure, definitely. Okay, great.
I would have done that, but I'm not very nice.
Okay, yeah, so Liffy comes over, applies some direct pressure.
Give me your shirt.
So go ahead and
Oh,
roll.
what? You need my shirt?
Just rips it off.
Yeah, I like
He's got like
It's
this.
very little occurrence.
He's got like this scrawny dude torso. Not like there's like no muscular definition there, but he's super proud of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, roll a medicine check for me.
That's what the main
Yes,
one.
D20. Yep.
Come on, I had a good one. I think it's +4. 15.
Okay, and you have a, what's your bonus to medicine?
I think it said +4.
Hold on. Let's find out. Yep.
+3.
+3.
Okay, so 18 total.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, you apply direct pressure to Jerry's nose. He'll have a scar. It'll look gross, but he'll think it looks cool.
Oh yeah, chicks. Like, this is,
Chicks take scars.
it's totally big scars. It's gonna be great.
Okay, you guys have successfully beaten off the twig blights.
Woo! Go team!
You go the rest of the way through the forest and come upon the Moaning Tower. The tower is about a 3-story stone structure. At its base, you see only a wooden door. It's about 6 feet tall, otherwise relatively normal. The mortar is bright white. The second story, you can see a couple of arrow slits, and then the third story, there's a couple of largish windows. There does not seem to be anybody home, and as you're standing there, you hear wind. It must be going through the eaves in the top of the tower, making this kind of continuous moaning sound. But you know that your client should be expecting you.
Who's in front? Who's in front?
You guys all kind of array yourself in front of the tower at this point.
Who's-
Can I just go? Okay.
the door.
Oh,
Could we?
sure. That's a great idea. Nara, let's knock on the door.
Why wouldn't we?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you had a knock on the door. No sound is generated from you hitting it. So like your knuckles rap against the door, but absolutely no sound comes from that action.
Is there a doorbell?
Could I investigate? Would that
There is, yeah, absolutely. So roll investigation. There is no clear doorbell. There's no knocker or anything like that.
I'm showing impatience, and I can't believe people who lived in this building ordered muffins.
So I rolled a 3 plus 5.
No.
5.
Oh, sorry.
8.
So 8. Okay. So Nara, looking at the door, what you do notice is that it looks like there's chip marks on the wood of the door.
Chip marks?
Chip marks, like looking at the wood, it's like something has hit it that had a sharp edge or something. Other people can also do investigation if they would like to.
So I would look around for like a tool to like rap on the door.
Okay, like what kind of tool?
Like a crowbar.
Okay,
Well,
so there's nothing like that around. But go ahead and give me an investigation check, Lithy.
Six. That's a 6. And
Down.
oh, 6.
6.
Yeah, so there's nothing really obvious. There are like, some pebbles and rocks and, leaves and twigs and that sort of thing. Like the forest ends about 20 feet away from the tower.
I would suggest.
I have the other side of my axe.
Uh-huh.
I to take the back of the axe and bang on it with that.
Okay. All right, so you take the butt end of the axe. Same result. So you're hitting the door, you're feeling the impact, but absolutely no sound comes from it.
I would suggest to Pona that she try opening the door and going in. And we all go after Pona because
I
what happened.
I accept that challenge because I think that if I stick my hand through, we're going to find out that the door doesn't exist and that it's just an image, and we're just going to be able to walk right through.
Okay. So trying the door, it does not budge. It feels like it's probably barred on the other side.
Could tell us again about the arrow slits and
Yeah. So on the second story, there's pretty thin slits, about 2 feet tall. There's 3 of them around the perimeter of the tower, and then in the third story of the tower, there's 2, not big windows, but largish windows with what looks like glass panes.
we could try climbing or we could try going around.
How high up are the glass panes?
The glass panes are in the third story, so that's going to be 30 feet up.
Okay.
And you said
I'm gonna grab a nearby rock
Okay.
and just hurl it at one of the glass panes.
Okay, that would be athletics.
Yep. So that is a 9 plus 1, 10.
Okay, yeah. So you grab a rock. Are you intending to break it or just notify the occupant that someone is throwing a rock at their glass pane? Which is a fairly expensive piece of architecture in this day and age.
We could just try throwing the muffins at them.
Leave the muffins and go.
I think Jerry's not really paying close attention to these
Okay,
nuances.
so just give me a straight up luck check.
Okay.
So 1 through 10 is bad,
Uh-huh.
and 11 through 20 is okay.
Awesome. 13.
Okay, so Jerry chooses a relatively small rock and hurls it up, plinks against the glass, drops down. After a moment, you guys hear the bar being lifted from the door, and the door opens, and behind it is a sort of semi-translucent figure of a middle-aged man. He smiles and says, "Oh, my baked goods! Wonderful!" You see him grab a small pouch of coins and extend them to you. and he relieves you of your baskets of mystical baked goods that he, as a ghost, can consume.
Woo!
All right.
We did it!
Hey.
So all right. So I'm curious about how these things get written. Like, how did that? Was there a trick to it, or is this all? Are you improvising this?
I improvise like, so I can share my notes. These are the notes that I had for this encounter. So I basically just have like, this is the setup, but I sometimes I have like what I think is going to be a solution, but in the spirit of improv, I am usually amenable to lots of different solutions. So with the door, all I knew is that it wouldn't be simple to do. And so what I thought is like, oh, okay, so if they're holding a thing, it's not going to make any noise. But if they threw a thing at the door, like a rock, or threw the axe at the door, it would have made noise. And if you had gotten a higher investigation check, you would have seen that there's like a collection of stones at the base of the door that other people have done doing this very same thing to get the ghost's attention.
So when Jerry decided to throw the stone at the window.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't a priori anticipate that would be a solution, but I was like, oh no, that makes total sense. Like the ghost is upstairs and he hears someone, he knows there's a bakery delivery coming. He hears someone hitting the glass. He's like, oh, that's my baked goods.
Intuitive solution.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
So I guess I'm just not good at. I guess I do sort of expect it to be like turn taking.
Yeah.
But we can just.
I've been playing.
Go.
I've been playing Skyrim for the last 2 months, which is like very linear and.
You do this and then.
Yeah. So yeah, but I get it.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, especially with the game, like, you know, it's a murder mystery. So you guys are going to have lots of clues to pursue. And I have no a priori vision for what that's going to look like. You know, I'm just like, this is the scenario. I don't know how you guys are going to pursue it. And I know, you know, some of the information about what's happening in the town, et cetera, but it's really just going to depend on what angle you decide to pursue and how you decide to pursue it.
So we're gonna tell you who we've chosen, and then you're gonna somehow assign all of these attributes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So so we can talk about the characters a little bit right now that you guys want to make up.
Yeah.
So Susan, you want to start?
Sure. So my character is Miss Marple from the Agatha Christie novels,
Yeah.
except
You were
it's when Miss Marple is less old lady spinster and more 30s, 40s, super cute. Like, she's not very outgoing, but people who get to know her realize how incredibly smart she is and how much she knows. So she gets invited to lots of fabulous parties. So she's basically like, you know what? I'm in my 30s and 40s and I'm not really like this, like I'm probably not getting married. So I'm just gonna live it up, have lots of fabulous clothing that Susan, the player, will be wearing to the games, by the way. But it's still that so she's like maybe a little less retiring than she is in the novels, but still that kind of like, oh, I've seen this before. I know about this. I'm also drawing on the book Lewis gave me about Agatha Christie's actual background and knowing about.
Oh, that's cool.
What?
Yeah.
So,
When did I give you that?
birthday maybe?
Yeah. See,
I'm sure you're the one who gave it to me. Yeah.
This is what I figured out with my family. Just go to the used bookstore and then and stay there for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
you'll
We'll find something for somebody.
Oh.
Yeah.
So so I'm thinking a couple of options for the character. So probably going to be human. So in terms of creating the character, you know, we have the idea that I want you guys to have, like the archetype that you're building on, and then we need to map it onto you know, the rules of the game to interact with the game. So why is my book sticky?
What did you guys do?
Oh my
What
god.
did you do?
Can you explain about classes and races as best you can?
I mean, yeah. So I can explain about races. That's more like elf.
Yeah, elf dwarf. Right.
Yeah. So Eric's better at this than I am, but so basically, human is a race, elf is a race, orc, and like basically like the Lord of the Rings kinds of thing. So if somebody wanted to play a dwarf or a halfling, etc., you absolutely could. People can play half race thing as well. For this particular game, I don't know what Eric's idea is, but I don't see any reason why you couldn't decide that your character is more of a, different class than, or like a different race than human. I honestly haven't thought that far myself. And then classes, I think, are more, I'm trying to remember, I think they're like, almost like what your character kind of
Profession.
does. Yeah, like not quite the profession, but kind of in that area, like a ranger is a character, right? And then and a wizard is a character,
fighter, wizard,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So those are some classes that could be added.
This is 13, sir.
That's not.
Well, what are you grumbling about?
He hears me, so he owes me.
And then all your character also has like a background, like where they came from, like were they an urchin, were they a soldier, like those kinds of things.
Yeah.
That'll kind of factor into it as well. So for your character, I'm thinking of a couple of options. One is a rogue.
Okay.
So even though rogues, are like kind of sneaky fighter types, they're also skill types, and so.
Yeah.
It would give you an opportunity to have lots of skills that you're fairly competent at. So that came to mind immediately when I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Certainly like a wizard, like a knowledge oriented type character could also be functional for that.
I think, sorry, was there another?
No, and I was going to say like wizard also, like the spells might be a way to capture like the things that she can do.
Okay.
Sort of thing, like detect magic, detect poison, like those kinds of
that would be
things.
cool. So immediately what I was thinking was in the books, people kind of like discount and overlook the smartable. So I was thinking that a rogue might be good from that standpoint, because she could be like very much in the background and then just be like, oh, by the way, I fixed it. You know?
Right. Yeah, because stealth isn't necessarily like sneaking around in the dark.
Right.
It's also just
like
passing yourself,
blending
blending in. Yeah, okay. All right, cool. All right, that seems reasonable. All right, Kat, I like you, but I got okay, and then Liz, you were thinking about Lorelei?
Yeah, so Lorelei Gilmore is about 35 years old. She's a single mother, but she had her daughter when she was 16, so her and her daughter are really kind of best friends. So Lorelei, although she's very loving and very smart, she can sometimes be a little immature. But she's also an entrepreneur and a business owner, so she's really smart. She loves coffee, so she's always talking really fast because she's always caffeinated up, and she can talk. She's very good at talking through things.
Cool. Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm thinking in terms of class, like I think that would also lend itself well to a rogue. That would be like the charismatic, persuasive sort of angle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see that definitely.
Cool. Yeah, and that's the thing is like, your class gives you certain abilities, but obviously you can tailor those different ways. So like there are smart rogues, there are charismatic rogues, etc. Another option might be a bard, which is a musically inclined character. I don't know if Lorelei has any musical.
No, she loves music, but she doesn't have any musical abilities. But she loves, putting on the radio and and listening. She loves listening to music. She appreciates it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I think some kind of bard would probably, or some kind of rogue would work pretty well for Lorelei for that. All right, cool. Okay, and then Kira, what have you thought of for character inspiration?
So Claire Fraser from Outlander. So she was a World War II nurse, Her husband was a soldier, and after the war, they go on a honeymoon to Scotland, and like a second honeymoon to Scotland, and she passes through these fairy stones, and she's sent back 200 years. So she,
Spoiler alert.
well, so she kind of gets the whole like being displaced thing.
Oh, cool. Okay.
She obviously is very good with medicine. She's stubborn. She's sort of strong-willed, but you know, while she's there, she's accused of being a witch, so she has to like be very savvy on like, you know, how to get people
out of the situation.
Yeah. She does have a daughter, so she's, you know, kind of also a mom, and she's also kind of empathetic in that way, but she's still very strong-willed.
Okay, cool. And let's see, is that, did I spell it correctly here? Claire Fraser?
1E.
1E.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Fraser.
F-A-S-E.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the you've seen me watching this show.
Oh,
Like
okay.
the Scottish show that I'll watch. With the,
You watch.
Sorry, what?
You watch it.
I haven't
After watching
finished
it.
what's on Netflix, but I've watched it. I know what's up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm thinking actually that would lend itself very well to cleric, because clerics are kind of the healers of the game system, and so you'd be able to do a lot of medicine and healing and that sort of thing. So I think that would work pretty well. And then Lewis, what are your thoughts?
Jean-Luc Picard, for a few reasons. First off, he's very good on unusual situations.
Uh-huh.
Been in a few
As well.
out of this world quite a bit. So like exploration is his game, this is his game, and he's a leader. He's very smart. He's intellectual. He's analytical. He is not brash at all. He thinks through everything. He doesn't say anything like that. He doesn't very straightforward. Very
Cool. It seems like, Lewis, we lost your sound a little bit. Did something kick on in the background?
I do too, but I.
That might be that's my heat. Let me mute for a sec. I'll mute while he's talking. When my heat comes on,
Uh-huh.
it
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly
Okay.
what it was, yeah.
So the other thing is that I thought would be good for this is he is obsessed with noir.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He frequently goes to the holodeck to solve murder mysteries as Jackson Hill, private detective.
Uh-huh.
So he's all on board for all of this.
Excellent. Very cool. Yeah, I feel like Picard could go a lot of different ways
Yeah.
with class. I mean, he could be kind of paladin-like, like just very like idealistic and looking for peace and that kind of thing.
I think that's very much him.
Yeah. Okay.
He can certainly defend himself and he goes to war when he needs to, but
Yeah.
the point is to avoid conflict, not
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'd say so. That
Cool.
sounds awesome.
Cool. That sounds really great.
diplomat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to switch me to a wizard so that everybody has a different class, or is that a big
Nope.
thing? Okay, cool.
Nope.
Not necessarily. If you want to, that's fine. But I like running games that have non-traditional structure
Works
to
for me.
the composition.
Cool.
Yeah. So cool.
Just one thing while we were thinking, I was thinking Thursdays might actually work a little better than Mondays, just because Monday, like earlier in the week, it's so much busier for me. And one other thing too is like I'm on call all the time.
Yeah.
I can get an email or a call at any point in the day, even now.
Right.
That's much more likely at the beginning of the week than it is at the end of the week.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's given me a lot of good information for the characters. So I'll work on building those. when I get them, they're going to be more complicated than the ones that you played tonight, obviously, and we'll just talk through what the abilities that you have are, how they get involved. At the end of the day, the basic structure is what we did tonight. You have a challenge. I'll ask you to roll a d20. The better you are at a skill, the more likely you are to succeed. And as a general rule, the higher you roll, the better, the more you get. So like with the investigation, you like with the relatively low investigation that you like got some information, but if you got a higher roll, you would have gotten even more information. And then with the acrobatics, crossing the river, not getting a great roll, you don't fall to your death, you like stumble. And so like each of these kind of call it failing forward. So as a general rule, the higher bonus you have, the more likely you are to succeed. And then it's going to be, mostly investigative. We will probably have some combats in there because that's a part of gaming. The kind of three pillars of role-playing games are role-playing, which is going to be most of it, which is talking to characters, talking to other people in the world, combat, which we obviously did, and then exploration, going out and finding things, which obviously for a mystery is going to be pretty integral. Yeah.
And what is it? We're doing a role-playing game?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Because people ask me, I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Oh yeah, it's Dungeons and Dragons. And it's a role-playing game. People abbreviate RPG.
Like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, it's gonna be kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but there's a storyline.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you want to add?
I think the only thing that I would add, which I already did say, and I know Liz and I have talked about, like, this is basically replicating a tabletop game, like for Dungeons and Dragons. So people don't typically dress up for those. I have a lot of pretty dresses that I never get to wear in the pandemic, so I'm going to be dressing up. People should feel no pressure in either direction. If you want to, great.
Of course.
Yeah, that would be super elaborate for you, Kara.
I like that though.
I don't have a uniform.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I've got a almost fedora. Maybe I can wear that.
Oh sure.
You could just do like one item for that character or something.
Yeah, just a little something.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions or things that you guys have that you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Well, this was fun. I really enjoyed it.
I don't know how I really appreciate that you did all of this because I don't know, you're very good at it. So I think it's fun that way.
Yay, great.
I couldn't do that, but
I wouldn't want to do it either.
I would want to, I just don't think I'd be good at it,
but. Okay, so give me some time to make up the characters and craft a little bit more of the story. I haven't really done any pen to paper yet for the story. I just wanted to get things rolling. So it will certainly not be this Thursday. Maybe we can aim for next Thursday, but I'll communicate via email.
And before we go, I want to congratulate you, Eric, on winning